So, is Sugar good? Is she bad? Well, after a lot of testing, I've made some updates. Hey guys, welcome back to another episode. Mobby here, and today I'm going to be giving you my personal deck profile for this purple red sugar leader that came out in OP10. However, this is going to be for OP11. Make sure to like and subscribe, it really helps out the channel. I upload daily duels and deck profiles for different anime TCGs. Alright guys, here we go. The difference from this deck and the last deck is we've added a lot more sort of events, switched them around, but added a really key late game card which I think every sugar deck should run. If you guys just want the deck list and want to see what I had before for straight OP10, pause the video, head on over to my website, mobbytcg.com. There you can get all the proxies, deck profiles for every deck that we cover on the channel. Alright guys, so here we go. Even though I did say this is for OP11, don't worry, you can still play this OP10 because there's only OP10 cards and below. There actually wasn't anything I added for OP11, but this, if you were to play this in OP11, this is the deck I would say to use. So let's get started talking about the leader and so on. It's a Sugar from OP10, 5000 power, red purple leader, Don Quixote Pirates. At the end of your turn, if you have a Don Quixote pirate card with 6000 power or more, it doesn't matter if it's rested or if it's active, as long as it's on the field, set up to one of your Don is active. Now, you can also have a character that's 5000 power, for example, as long as you power them up. For example, with a Don, it will activate because the end of your turn is not the end of your turn, if that makes any sense. And then during your opponent's turn, once per turn, when you activate an event, set up one of your Dons as active. So you are basically going to be setting one down. Oh, sorry. You're going to be using one Don and setting one Don back up a lot of times here. So this deck has a lot of late game protection. It has some ramping, but basically you want to wait for your late game and then have some insane defenses for that. The first card we're going to be talking about here is Sugar from OP10. 1/1/1, activate main, rest one Don, then this character. Look at the top 5 cards, grab one Don Quixote card and add it to your hand. Place the rest to the bottom of your deck. So, what's cool about this Sugar is, yeah, it costs 2 Don essentially. You know, you put it on the field, then use one Don and rest it. It's okay to play turn 1 or turn 2. This is pretty much your only searching card of the deck. You want to grab your 5 cost Rosinantes, and you want to grab your, I believe it's an 8 cost. It's probably an 8 cost. I would just look it up. It's an 8 cost Dofi here. So you want to grab those as much as possible because they're going to be your win conditions. The cool thing about this as well is you can grab Sugar itself, which is kind of cool. Okay, now we're going to talk about our first event of the deck. This is I Do Not Forgive Those Who Laugh at My Family. So from OP10, it's a 1 cost. You can activate it during the main or during as a counter. I said this is our only searching card I lied. Look at that. Look at the top 3 cards of your deck. Reveal one Don Quixote pirate card. Remember I said get the 5 drop or the 8 cost. Other than this card here, add it to your hand, then place the rest on the bottom in any order. So yeah, you can use it on your turn. Or if you really want to, you can keep one Don active and then activate it during your opponent's turn, because you will be able to use it as a ramping mechanism. And once again, it's important that you get your 8 and 10 drop ASAP. So this is good if you don't have a great turn to play. Leave some Don up, because you're going to be using this kind of early. But yeah, if you have a character that's 6000 or more, you're going to be leaving a Don active, so it's not too hard to play. But you don't have a lot of early game, so this is really more important to get than the Sugar, I believe, because you need this to ramp up, even if it is once per turn. 1 turn is super important. Being ahead of your opponent 1 or 2 turns is extremely massive. Now let's move over to this event called Blast Breath. This is from Starter Deck 4. With 1 Don, then you counter minusing 1 Don. Up to one of your leader or characters gains 4000 power during this battle. Now you primarily want to use this when you have 8, 9, and 10 Don, because when you use your leader ability, by the time you're at that super late game, you're always going to have a Don active. You're going to have a Don Quixote ready to go. Don Quixote pirate ready to go to set this as active. Then during your opponent's turn, you can activate this. You can activate this to a -1 Don. Activate that. And then one will come back as active, and then during that same turn, it will let you activate even more 1 cost events. So it's not a problem that you're removing 1 Don super late game. It's just a super crazy powerful card. The only bad thing about it is there is no trigger, but man, 4000 for 1, and you know, you don't really lose the Don. It's super good. Not searchable. Now we have another event. This is Radical Beam from OP01. This costs 1, so during a counter, your leader or character gains 2,000. Then, if you have 2 or less life, you gain an additional 2,000 power, making it a 4,000. So the cost here is -1 Dawn. The cost here is you have to have 2 or less life cards. By the time you play this, hopefully you will, you have no reason to play it other than late game. And remember, if you activate this and you have Dawn ready to go, even if you didn't remove a Dawn, you can still activate 1 extra Dawn from your trash or from your Dawn deck as active. So this is a great one to have into the late game. The trigger here, up to 1 of your leader or characters gains 1,000 power during this turn, where that might not come into that much play. But anyway, we're running 4 of these. Very powerful in this deck. Time for another event. This one's really good. This is Slow Beam Sword from OP7. It costs 2. When you counter, -1 Dawn. Once again, don't worry about the minus Dawn if you were playing this late game. Up to 1 of your leader or character gains 2,000, which isn't a lot, but you get to rest 1 of your opponent's characters. Very strong. It doesn't matter if it's like a super crazy 10 cost or, it can't be KO'd. Doesn't matter. You rest that guy, stop being an attack. Super powerful. What's even better is the trigger here. When it activates, add up to 1 Dawn from your deck and set it to active. So if you somehow need another Dawn during your defensive turns, this will help you. If you get it super early, once again, ramping up is very, very, very powerful for this leader. So we're running 4 of these. Now we have Judgment of Hell. This is from OP02. It costs 2. Counter minus another Dawn. Once again, minus another Dawn. So you're going to have a lot of the same sort of scenarios where you're going to want to play these. Give up to a total of 2 of your opponent's leader or characters -3,000. So you probably, and for the turn, which is really good. You probably want to play this when an opponent's leader or character attacks you. You go ahead and defend against it. Hopefully 3,000 is enough. Then you -3,000 on the other character or leader that is about to attack, and that's how you play it. The trigger here is if your opponent has 6 or more Dawn, they return 1 from their Dawn deck. So this one might come into play, especially if your opponent is maybe playing on a curve and they want 10. If they have exactly 6 or 8, the triggers, boom, they're down 1. So I would much rather I ramp like this, but hey, it's a really good effect regardless. So yeah, the trigger, you just hope you don't get it before they have 6 Dawn, right? Now for Gum Fire Pistol Red Hawk. This is from OP01. This costs 2 as a counter. Up to 1 of your leader or character cards gains 4,000, which is pretty good. And then KO a 4,000 or less. So this is interesting. This is how it's going to work with trigger. You are most likely late game, especially mid to late game. You want to save up all your events and use it then. You're going to be activating a lot of stuff. So basically, when your opponent attacks, you want to chain multiple cards together in order to use the second ability. For example, the Judgment of Hell. If you have 4 Dawn when you end your turn, and trust me, there are cards which it's going to make it pretty easy. You can activate this, then give somebody -3,000, activate this, and then KO somebody that's 4,000 or less. So you can KO up to a 7,000 on your opponent's turn, which is crazy good. Also, if there is a trigger here, -10,000. So yeah, you're able to KO somebody on your opponent's turn. What a counter. We're running 2 of these because it's not going to happen that often. But once it does, man, that's really good. Okay, time for character cards. And yeah, that was a lot of events, but this deck is all about running small, awesome events multiple times. Your opponent doesn't know which event's coming, so they don't know what to play around. Usually, they're playing around, oh, I got Radical Beam now. You got to worry about a Slow Beam Sword or Judgment of Hell, or, oh man, they're going to Red Hawk my character. So yeah, Sugar is a little annoying. All right, now for a Viola. So from OP10. 341. This has an 8 blocker. When this is KO'd, you can -1 Dawn. You most likely don't want to do this too early. You want to ramp as much as possible. It's good to play late game though. Or just, put on the board, but maybe don't activate this. If your leader is Don Quixote Pirates, add 1 purple event from your trash to your hand. So once again, you can't grab these red ones. You can grab Judgment of Hell. You can grab Slow Beam Sword, Blast Breath, and I do not forgive those who laugh at my family. So you can grab a bunch of those. 4 of these. Now for some of your 2Ks, this is Baby 5 from OP10. 312 on play trash 1 card. If your leader is Don Quixote Pirates, add up to 1 Dawn from your Dawn deck as active. It's actually a really great card. I recommend playing this on curve and trashing a card to ramp up. Yeah, you lose the 2K here, and Baby 5 literally does nothing else on the board. But don't worry, ramping up is super important. I recommend ramping up. It's important. Do it. All right, moving over to a 5 cost here. So Senor Pink from OP10 560. On play, -1 Dawn, then add up to 1 purple event with a cost of 5 or less from your trash to your hand. We talked about the purple cards already, lots of great ones here. Then set up to 1 of your Dawn cards as active. So this is an amazing card if you're able to play it on curve. First of all, you -1 Dawn, which who cares, because at the end you're going to be setting one back as active. Then at the end of your turn, this is a 6,000 character, making it so 2 Dawn will come up already, and you can start to activate stuff, you know, like you want to save a lot of defensive stuff. So if you have a lot of, you know, I Do Not Forgive, you can grab it with Send Your Pink and activate it again. A lot of good stuff here. So this is a crazy good card, running 2 of these, because on curve, you want to play this one more than this one. So this is Rosinante. This is from OP10, 561. So on play, trash 1 event to draw 2 cards. Great effect. Always use it when you can, unless you really, really specifically need an event card in your hand. Otherwise, I say just do it all the time. End of your turn. If you have 7 or more Dawn, set up to 2 as active. So with just this character, you're going to be setting up 2 Dawn as active once you have 7 or more Dawn, which you should probably at this point. When you play it kind of on curve, you're going to ramp up a bit, right? So yeah, so you get 1 Dawn up here and 2 Dawn here. You have 3 Dawn to mess around with. And once again, once you activate an event on your opponent's turn, you set 1 back up as active. So technically you'll have 4 to mess around with. 3 at the start. Very good. If you have multiple of these, that is crazy, because nothing is stopping you from activating both of your end of turns. You'll have 1 here, 2 and 2, 5. Your opponent doesn't know what the hell you're going to play. Insanely good. They want to remove this as much as possible. I even recommend maybe not even attacking with this sometimes, or go ahead and attack with it, because guess what? You have a lot of defensive event cards for this. Now, for your other crazy card you want to play, Don Quixote Doflamingo from OP10. 890 on play, -1 Dawn, play up to 1 Don Quixote 5 or less from your hand. Play this. 100% play this. Unless you need a blocker, then you play the Viola. Okay, on your opponent's attack, once per turn, you may rest 1 Dawn to add up 1 as active. So essentially, you are saving an active Dawn to order to ramp 1 back up as active. So you're not really gaining more back. So if you just have this on the board, you're going to be having one set up as active at the end of your turn. Then this one, you can rest it to activate it back again, etc. Basically, you want both of these on the board so you can do some shenanigans. Time for the final card of the deck. Oh, wait, sorry, there's 2 more. This is Charlotte Linlin from OP08, so 990. On play, -1 Dawn, trash 1. Add up to 1 card from the top of your deck to your life card, so you're healing 1. Then add up to 1 of your opponent's characters, 6 or less to the top of their bottom, life up. Really good effect. This is a surprising card to put in the deck if your opponent isn't expecting it. But once again, the point is to ramp up. Then mid to late game, you have a lot of defensive cards. This will help you live a little bit longer with extra healing. Trashing some cards in your hand, you might have some extra bricks, but basically, yeah, you also get to hopefully remove a card from your opponents, either putting on the top or bottom. And you know, with OP10 and 11 coming up, there is a lot of cards that have to do with, oh, if your card is face up or if it's face down, you can activate or not activate abilities. This will help you manipulate that even more. So this has more value going in from OP10 and OP11. Very good. Now for the final card of the deck, this is what you want to ramp up to. Shanks. This is from OP09. Because, yes, this is a red-purple leader. Add some really good stuff. 10-12-0. Give all of your opponent's characters -1,000. Now, that is passively on your turn and the opponent's turn. Meaning, if your opponent has a 5,000 character, you drop this, boom, it's 4,000 always. And this also has rush of 12,000. If you're able to have multiple of these on the board, you're going to win pretty easily. But basically, your opponent has to work a lot harder if they have that -1,000, because all of your events is like +4,000, -3,000 twice, +2,000, you know, +4,000, +4,000. They're not sure what to do. So this is super crazy good. And yes, ramping, grab this. The only bad thing about it is you can't search for it, but that's why we're running 4, so you can hopefully grab it. So yes, Shanks is your late game, helps you immensely with all of your events for defensive purposes. Charlotte Linlin to help you live a little bit longer. That's little surprise healing, right? This music's loud. Turn it down a little bit. And then you have your win conditions, which are these Dofis and these Rosinantes that let you ramp, stay ramped, and have your Dawn come back as active. Very good. They send your pink. If you don't get your Rosinantes, it's really good. Your baby 5, I recommend playing ASAP so you can go ahead and ramp. If you have like, for example, if you don't have like Rosinante in your hand for the turn after this. Maybe you even play 2 in a row. Then you have these Violas for your late game defenders if you need to. And then you have all of your crazy events. This is Surprise KO with comboed Judgment of Hell. You have your slow beam to rest a character that can't attack anymore. Radical Beam for your basic cool red ones. And your Blast Breath. So Blast Breath and Radical Beam pretty much just the same thing. Except Blast Breath doesn't have a counter, but it can be trashed. And it can be, it can be trashed via your Rosinante and brought back via your, what the hell is his name? Senor Pink. And you have these ones. If you find these at the beginning of the game, I recommend these way over these because you're going to be able to use it on your opponent's turn and by searching, and you can always ramp up a Dawn that way. So yeah, this leader is fun. It's interesting, and yeah, this deck, I think it's a much large improvement over the last one. Once again, if you want to see the last one, check it out here. But yeah, this deck, it's interesting. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye.